Let's try this again.
Take two. It's gonna feel weird because I feel like we did a good job the first time, but yeah. Hey, folks.
How has getting green coffee been during these times? For us, it's been pretty okay because of the way that we buy coffee. We buy pretty long on coffee, so we happen to be in this season where we have plenty of Guatemala left, we have plenty of Brazil left, but the weird part is coffees that were leaving their country of origin right as COVID hit or need to leave like now. I know that we had Colombia with their La Palma on it, or San Jose's, and the new natural that we got from Loma Verde. It left the country of origin fine, left Colombia just fine, but then when it got to the United States, there was a backup at the warehouse that they shipped basically all of the Eastern United States coffee in this one warehouse in New Jersey. And they didn't have any room in the warehouse because so many coffee roasters had shut down. There was no coffee leaving the warehouse. So they couldn't put our coffee into the warehouse. So there's like a 2-week lag just because of that weird supply chain issue that had really nothing to do with coffee. The weirdest part is going to be when we need coffee like 6 months from now or a year from now, because of how everything is affecting farming and migrant workers who are doing the picking and stuff at origin. That stuff is to be determined how a lot of that's going to be affected. I was on the phone a couple of weeks ago with the guys in Colombia from Pergamino, and they're having logistical issues because of not knowing how many just roasters like us, or even bigger roasters, who are going to be in business. So it's hard for them to guess how much coffee to buy from smaller communities because they don't know if there's going to be a home from it once it gets here. So that stuff is going to have really long-term weird effects. If entire harvests are going unharvested, then I mean, if there's no workers to pick it, then stuff is just sitting on the tree or like falling on the ground and rotting, which is a whole nother issue. Or if somehow they get pickers and are able to pay them and it gets through the processing, then it's got nowhere to go. So it may just dump right back into the local economy, which will crush the return on investment for farmers. Meanwhile, the biggest producing countries in the world are just like pounding coffee out just like normal. Like, so one of the biggest co-ops in Brazil is their numbers are sort of unchanged as far as stuff that's being able to be produced and processed and picked and all that stuff. So for higher end specialty stuff, admittedly smaller farmers, there's going to be some weirdness coming. How our little specialty market's going to affect global coffee pricing worldwide is yet to be determined, but I have a feeling that it's just going to drive the price up, which it's kind of about time for that, but not like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, a couple week lag, but things will be pretty okay, I think, going into the summer, especially once Ethiopia's arrive in June. Can't wait. Have you had the chance to help farmers / origin during this pandemic?
Also from Scott's favorite tot.
Yeah.
Thanks, DJ.
Yes and no. I mean, there's not been any like Venmo account and we'll give this money to Julio or anything like that, because for us, the way that we've been able to really help farmers is by giving them stability. Unfortunately, since a lot of coffee roasters, especially in like huge cities like obviously New York and Chicago and LA, are getting hit pretty hard. Roasters are having to completely shut down. So they're not able to take any coffee at all. Some of them, under no choice of their own, are sort of defaulting on contracts that they set for this like vast amount of coffee. We just happen to be blessed and lucky in the area of the country that we're in, and how relatively little we're affected, that we're able to continue to take the coffees that we set to contract. With how conservative we've been with debt and how we have been able to manage some of this, that the best thing that we can do is to just stay good to our contracts. So we're just trying to keep our volume pushing through creative means. Website is just like crushing it right now. So like no direct yet cash back to a farming community, but I mean, those conversations are happening, but I don't know, we'll see. So, I mean, that's that.
Yeah, our philosophy hasn't necessarily changed in supporting farmers.
Yeah. This is my favorite handle from @TacoEater5000. They ask, will you post a virtual tour of the roastery, please, or do a live stream or two of education? When it comes to the virtual tour of the roastery, I think that's a great idea. And I think at some point in the future, it'll probably get done. So yes, but not sure when.
Let's go do it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I think that will happen at some point. I think it'll be really fun to do. Also, the education question, part of that question, hand it over to you.
Never.
All right, next question.
Of course. I think he's the one who messaged like on Instagram and said we would love some more videos after the quiz. And I think it'd be interesting to do like some science and biology videos on like what are cultivars
Yeah.
and maybe more in depth into processing or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty extensive list of topics that we'd like to cover in video format. A lot of that is education related.
I like covering topics, and I think we all like covering topics that don't necessarily have to do with specifically brewing. Brewing's cool, but also like videos on before coffee even gets here, like what's going on with that and stuff like that. You know, fun stuff like taxonomy. Everybody loves taxonomy. There's nothing taxing about it.
Both of those things I think will exist at some point. A roastery tour video and more videos specifically around education. So,
He asked another question. You should just take that one.
since we are stressed with Corona times, will you do a random release of Gesha soon?
No.
No.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We don't have any Gesha
I
in the
wish.
building, so
I mean, we will.
if we had it, it probably would be out.
That'd be pretty cool.
We will get some in June.
Yeah. Although we do have some really exciting coffees coming out soon. La Palma is returning from Colombia. Probably almost everyone here, it's like their favorite coffee release every year. I'm really excited about that coffee. Summer Punch should be coming out pretty soon.
Okay. How long does my coffee stay fresh? I'm sitting on 10 pounds of DRC vacuum sealed. So how long does it stay fresh? Whole bean, you can technically get like a month out of it. I mean, pushing it. Once you've ground it, like 30 minutes. I mean, you gotta brew it. Seriously, maybe only like a couple hours. If you're like opening a retail bag regularly, or if you have one of our airscapes, you trying to get through like a 12-ounce bag in a week is like our sweet spot.
And like, what do you lose with? What do you mean by like lack of fresh? Like you lose the acidity, like
Yeah, and you start to like taste. We call it like tasting age, where it just tastes like more roasty, and a lot more flat.
Just less exciting
Yeah.
in general.
It's like putting water on your nightstand and then going to sleep and then waking up and drinking it. It's just something weird.
That's the only way I drink water.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Do you like EDM?
yeah,
okay.
Yes.
that's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
I guess, yeah.
What?
I got this buddy from Sweden who keeps sending me a bunch of EDM.
I'm glad there's
And I
more
like
to talk
it.
about on this topic.
Yeah.
Is Purity Ring considered EDM?
I don't think so.
Darn it.
One time I went to a rave in Detroit,
Oh my
and
God.
All right.
the EDM thing didn't open up until like 3:30 in the morning.
If EDM only plays at 3:30 in the morning, I'd probably never heard it.
Well, you can play
Describe
it.
this rave with one word.
Fun.
Do you sell cold brew in larger amounts, like a growler? We don't technically sell cold brew
At all.
at all.
But-
we do sell iced coffee that is brewed hot and flash chilled. Sorry, it just
Yeah, well,
sounds like, because it sounds like, like, oh, we don't do that,
Yeah.
and that's not the idea. We just,
It's not technically.
We have a
brewing.
it's not
different-
technically cold brew.
I got this one. We have a different way to make our
It is.
We
again,
brew our cold coffee in a different way. We do not cold brew.
We don't.
There's
brew
nothing
cold water.
wrong with cold brew.
But
We
you
just
said it's
prefer a
very
different
dynamic.
method.
Yeah. If by cold brewed you mean cold coffee that you can
Yeah.
drink in your house, yeah, we sell it in the growler.
Can we start this
No,
question
no, no, no.
over?
We
This
should
is
just-
way too
From
long.
all of the questions, this should just be the only answer.
Let's start this one over. Do you sell cold brew in larger amounts like a growler?
If you want cold coffee that's
Great.
made by Deeper Roots, we do sell it by the growler.
Also, we're doing the other containers of it now too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not just growlers.
Right.
Yeah, so they're like crowlers, I think.
Crowlers
technically.
size.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not a can.
64 ounces.
Yeah. It's
Bottle.
always a difficult question to answer.
It's a good one.
Cold coffee. Coffee flour tea. Banging.
Yep. Is Joel a pimp daddy? Of course.
Unequivocally.
Yeah, he is definitely a pimp daddy.
Yeah.
Next. Last question.
I made this one last on purpose, I think.
Okay. Loving your vibes.
That's
Thank
it?
you, Celestial Mud.
Is that a question?
I love your vibes as well.
Is it?
Anything can be a question if you ask it
If
this way.
something is, can it be or can it not be?
Jeez.
Oh my god. Well, I think that went well.
Yeah, we really did it. Hopefully it recorded all of it. If it didn't,
This is going to be such a long video.
okay, bye.
Yeah.